Hey everybody, today is video number 16 and we're going to talk about the use of resonance and timing in magic. So as I established before, mentioning the doctrine of correspondences, generally you want to have some type of resonance with the objects that you're using in terms of magic. Okay, it can be a resonance in terms of color, it can be sound resonance, it could be vibrational resonance, right? Every object has a certain type of quality to it, and these qualities such as color and flavor and so on and shape establish resonances, or they can, and this has been long used by magical theorists and practitioners all over the world since the beginning of time. But for example, the two basic kind of mundane activities people do is money and love. That's the two types of spells they would do, right? So, I mean, we have all types of associations with love. We think about Valentine's Day or diamond ring or all these different things. Like, it doesn't have to be universal, it can be really personal, but it's something in your mind that evokes a memory. Like if you have a really strong memory from your life, you can remember tiny little details. It could be even a traumatic memory or a good memory, it doesn't matter. Like you'll have an enhanced perception of all these different details. And a lot of times that impression upon you determines how you'll feel towards an aroma or a scent or any object that when you see it again over the course of your life, like it may somehow to some degree like resonate with that moment in time for you. So that's just one example. But for example, right now, if you look around, everything's kind of turning autumn colors, right? Like reds and browns and earth tones. So like, this is a type of harmonic resonance, right? Like a lot of people even refer to these different color schemes as like an autumn. If someone has a certain complexion or whatever it is, it's like, it's a resonance that things have. It's a quality, right? So that they share. So most sympathetic magic is done through resonance in this way. It's just a type of association. And these are things that have power and they can be used. So whatever you want to attract, you got to magnetize it. So just like magnetics have polarity, like you want to polarize the things that you want. And that's basically, there's all kinds of different ways, to attune with things. And one of the most important is timing, right? So as the sun goes around the earth and stuff, or vice versa, sorry, earth goes, I don't know, I have to think about it. But anyways, the point is, as the sun and earth move relative to each other in some way, the light and the shades of light that we get, that changes over the seasons even, but over the course of a single day. And so those frequencies of light and that energy and that angle of light, that's a type of resonance. Like right now, if you're talking astrological timing, we got sun in 7th house right now. And then usually Mercury and Venus are both pretty close to the sun too. So they have to be actually. So like you can locate those planets. Like if you're trying to work with planetary magic and do some type of partnership concept right now, 7th house sun is like a good time to do it. It establishes resonance because the 7th house is said to rule partnerships and any kind of cooperation and bringing two things together in any kind of a way. So joining unions, but metaphorically, like contracts and business ventures and anything that you want to do that requires cooperation, you want Venus to smile on it as good as possible. So that's one example of a resonance, right? So you use these different correspondences in these systems. They could be astrological, they could be seasonal, they could be hours of the day, right? So going back to the Chaldean system, they divide the 12 daylight hours and 12 night hours, and there's all the 7 planets each have an hour. So you'll have slightly less than 2 full sets of hours, day and night. So it's like, that establishes, that's probably one of the most ancient system of correspondence that I know about. And even the days are named after the planets to this day. Whether, common people know that or not is another matter. But they are, and that's often been used by magicians for magical correspondence and resonance for the desired effect. But most importantly, it also just teaches you how to know where the planets are. If you're trying to work with planetary magic, you have to know what direction they're, want to face them, draw in the energy, and so on. And when you're doing planetary magic, there's all kinds of colors. Like the sun has a lot. You can use white, you can use yellow, you can use orange, you can use like a reddish, like those are all solar colors, right? From different times of the year. Like Japan has red sun on their flag. Other countries have a yellow sun. So what's that about? It's interesting to me. Is there a difference? But I think for sure the wavelength of the light that's coming at you makes a huge difference. And it's much warmer and like softer at this hour. But sunlight is the purest white light at noon. So there's all kinds of unique properties to the light that comes out of the sun at noon, and dawn and dusk. I mean, magicians worldwide have done solar rituals, to time the movements of the sun. It's probably the single, and that's why we have like so many things in fours in all the religions. But anyway, it's easy to measure for one thing. But my point is, through resonance and timing and learning these systems of correspondence, it's an effective way to channel energy. You can channel planetary energy. There's all kinds of planetary angels and archangels. And there's like many, like, so say Jupiter, for example, has some angels that are just for healing powers, right? Others may be for more like scholarship or rulership or wealth, and stuff like that. But I mean, these are just, I don't want to say they're completely arbitrary, but it's not completely necessary, really. It's more just about your own inner resonance, right? And there's all kinds of different ways of doing that. And so I think there's a certain power in using systems that have been established and used for a long time period. It's kind of a current. And that gets me into another type of resonance that's very important, which is the resonance of lineage, right? And all systems out throughout the world, like the lineage carries a heavy weight. In Christianity, they have the apostolic succession, and that in itself is supposed to confer power. But in Tibetan Buddhism, they have the lineage lamas. And so whenever you get initiated, you get a wang and stuff, then it's like that power passes to you. You have to take an oath, though. Like you have to I don't know what I would say, but you're basically swearing not to purposely use it for evil, I think, is the main thing. You gotta have bodhicitta. You gotta have compassionate awareness. I think you have to promise that, because you could misuse it. And I would never want to willfully like break that bond, because it's a source of incredible power and help, in life. You wouldn't even believe it. It's beyond just saving your life. Like it's way more powerful than that even. But I'm just saying, this is an example of resonance. So like when you do your sadhana, if you're honoring the lineage masters and doing guru yoga, you're trying to establish a resonant connection with these masters of the past so that you can absorb their learnings and their teachings and their achievements, and you can come closer and draw closer to them by resonating with their spirit. So you chant these prayers that memorialize the lives of the lineage masters and their accomplishments, and it serves as a mnemonic device to imprint your consciousness daily with these thoughts and concepts of liberation and self-improvement and transcendent awareness, and think about how they're all put together and what their function is. Just a reminder every day to bring that back into your mind. And as you're doing that, as you're chanting, you can, most people will visualize, they'll have like a lineage, a painting of all the lineage masters, the retinues, and they're so elaborate, but it's just a reminder to like get your mind tuned into that state so that you're resonating with the lineage and trying to keep the teachings alive and practice them in your actions, most importantly, body, speech, and mind. So that's another key aspect of resonance, is when you do these rituals, you can establish resonance by using body, speech, and mind. So you're making motions. So you have mudras. In Tibetan Buddhism, there's these hand gestures that symbolize all the sensory powers, number one. And it symbolizes the different ritual implements. And it has all kinds, and even syllables, okay? So there's a correspondence between the syllables that you say and resonate verbally, and then there's the symbols that you hold, and then there's what you picture in your mind. So you're using body, speech, and mind at all times to try and make those three aspects of your consciousness synchronize and harmonize and resonate together. It gives incredible power, but more importantly than that, it trains you to control yourself and to have extreme precision and control and focus in everything that you do. And that's your offering to the God, is that you're offering them your awareness, your focus, your effort, your energy is all being offered to them for the purpose of preserving the lineage, practicing the teachings, and having the benefit of the teachings proliferate. And really, like, the resonance is all about keeping your mind in that state as much as possible. And if you do that, the power of the lineage will just flow through you. And so all these other things in correspondences and timing in your effects is like important too. And I mean, if you look at the Tibetan lunar calendar, all their festivals and initiations, I mean, sometimes they're a little lax with it, but like a real Lama knows exactly when everything's supposed to happen for maximum effect. And they take that shit very serious. And even within the month, they have the different rituals within the lunar month that's like synchronizing these cycles and building the resonance. So that's another example, is things that you repeat in a ritual and constantly do at certain phases of the cycle, it builds power. You know what I mean? And that type of power and that persistence that you use, that's where you really get into the big stuff. Like, you're not trying to win the lotto or like fall in love with somebody or nothing like that. You're trying to attain enlightenment, man. And you're trying to have your achievement benefit an inconceivably infinite number of beings, not just humans, animals, little tiny microbes, you know, like demons, angels, like birds, everything, all consciousness. Because it's all connected ultimately. But like, sometimes you want your resonance to be really specific, and sometimes you want it to be really broad to cover everything. So it's about having that focus to be able to alternate back or do both at once. And these are things that you actually practice, believe it or not, every single day, you know? So this kind of thing, it accomplishes extraordinary results. That's the best I could say. Like, most people will not believe it. But okay, so here's something interesting on the concept of resonance. Like, a lot of the people that I've encountered say that even to encounter the teachings itself in any way is an extreme good fortune. And it implies a bond and a tendency over many lifetimes to have an affinity with this path, to even encounter it. Because if you look at the numbers worldwide of the people that, number one, encounter it, number two, embrace it, number three, actually practice it, it's extremely small. And so it's a great good fortune, and it allows things to happen. And for me, what I was saying, a lot of people will bounce off it. Like, they could even encounter the teachings and they'll just bounce off it. It'll never take hold. They'll run away in the other direction. Whereas other people, not only are they innately drawn to it, but when it starts to happen, all these synchronicities come, and it just, everything is showing you there's a sense of rightness, there's a sense of purpose and importance and magnitude to it. And you still have a choice. It's not like you're compelled to do it or else. It's like you choose it, and but you're also like kind of intimidated by how perfectly it all lines up. It's kind of freaky sometimes. But my point is, this is another example of resonance. Because of our tendencies and patterns and behaviors and habits, our likes and dislikes, we repel certain things and we attract certain things. And that's just, you would be amazed if people knew the real extent of how influential that really is. Like, it's massive. So I'm just saying, like, every moment of the day is a moment where you have an opportunity to try and wrangle your mental space and like get it in order and put it on what you want it to be on. Not be distracted, not be thrown off, not be intimidated, not be scared, not be sad, not be morosely regretful or anything. Because anything like that is going to take you off your focus. And like I said, what if you just focus on flowing this infinite source of light and energy, just pulling it in and just filtering it in this beautiful parasol of rainbow light that's just stoking everyone worldwide, universal. I mean, this is something we all have the power to do. And what I'm trying to explain is, and what I was saying in my earlier videos is, like, this is a mental state that you can obtain. And it's through stillness and peace and openness, most importantly. And also recognizing you can't grasp onto the infinite. You're going to cut your hands because it's always flowing. So what you do is you caress it and you ride it and you feel it and you try to put it where it goes, and you try not to wrangle it and grip it and grab it, because it's never going to work. But when you get in tune with the flow of it, everything lines up. I couldn't even explain to you how unbelievable it is. And you can do it. It's natural. It's how we're supposed to live. And a lot of people are aware of it and seek it out like me. You wouldn't believe the sufferings and fucking torment that I've had to go through to pursue what I have now. Like, it's been grueling as fuck. It's getting your ass kicked, like, over and over and over, not only physically, but internally. You have to decide that the truth and your own highest potential is absolutely the most important thing, and that you can never, ever, ever compromise. You can't. It's too important. You know what I mean? You can't ever downgrade it and like settle. That's contrary to all happiness and goodness and health. And I look at people, almost everyone I know has settled and had their spirit crushed, and they just give up, and they just become these like mechanical. It's so sad. It's so sad. You know, but a lot of people stay vibrant and alive, and they maintain creativity, freedom, individuality, power, willpower, physical strength, clarity. You know, it's a routine, and it's a pattern, and it's a resonance that you can build up. And if you get it, it will keep you alive. It'll keep you super healthy. It'll make you happy. It'll make you passionate. It'll make you powerful as fuck. But the tendency is to wander off and like diverge. And instead of resonating, we get this dissonance and we resist it, or we try to wrangle it, or we try to grade ourselves down and be like, oh, I'm just a normal nobody. Like, I don't have power, blah, blah, blah. It's fake. It's not the truth. The truth is, this whole existence is a gift to you that's of infinite worth. But if you're living in illusions of impermanence and things that aren't really real, and that you could never truly cling to if you wanted to, and start thinking about the infinite, abundance, like scarcity is such a false concept. Like, there's no scarcity anywhere in nature. It doesn't exist. Like I'm saying, everything is full of life. It's a resource. It's fucking alive. Everywhere, even the desert, dude. There's thousands of tiny little microbes and fucking little bugs and ants and scorpions all in the desert, everywhere. In the bottom of the ocean, in a volcanic flume of thermal fucking sulfur gas, there's little microbes that are eating the sulfur and metal out of the fucking earth and shitting it out. Life is everywhere. Life is abundant. It is not a scarcity phenomenon. That's some Babylonian money magic right there, is what scarcity is. It's a human sacrifice concept. Did you know the word dollar comes from the Spanish word related to dolor, meaning sadness, and the German word taler, meaning to harm or to cause harm? That's what we have for dollars right now. It's not a joke at all. Think about all the suffering, death, starvation, warfare that goes on worldwide because of dollars. People live and die over the dollar every fucking day, and it's completely made up. People make all their life decisions and their moral values and all their likes and dislikes and every fucking decision they make based on the dollar. Why do they call it money? You got one eye, you got no motherfucking depth perception. You can't compare anything. The dollar is the god at the pinnacle of your fucking pyramid, and every choice you make is based on it. And that's why your life fucking sucks and you're unhappy. If you live like that, you have no soul. You have no moral compass of any kind, because if you make all your decisions based on money, it's impossible to have morals. It's literally impossible. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a choice anymore. It's just numbers, man, at that point. And like, some people are cool with that. And that's what's fucking crazy. My saying is, man, everything's infinite, and you get what you resonate to. You get what you tune yourself to, and it'll flow to you effortlessly. So do that. It's not about dollars, man. It's about your life force, your power, your creative force. Freedom, man. Freedom is what makes us happy, powerful, sexually attractive, beautiful, intelligent. You know? It's life force. Don't grade it down. Don't skimp on it. Splurge, baby. Right now.